So, good afternoon, Jason, and welcome to your class in ATC 129 Post-Harvest Handling Technology. So, our for this chapter or unit, we're going to discuss about ripening, degreening, and color adding. This is additional knowledge on the post-harvest processes and post-harvest operations. So we have finished the different post-harvest operations last meeting, and now we're going to have um, the next topic, which is ripening, degreening, and color adding. So for now, um, I intend to give your midterm exam next week. So if you haven't finished your prelim yet, so you better do answer now. No, although I have seen there are 6 out of 8 who have answered your prelim, and I will be checking them soon. So going back to ripening, as you can see, ripening is one of your laboratory exercises. So may I know an update if you have started your laboratory already, Bryle and Jason? Nag-start na mo?
Ma'am, na, nagdibugog sa laboratory, ma'am ba?
As,
Wala ko kasabot sa kuan. Asa to makita, ma'am?
ang unsa ang makita?
Ang sa laboratory, ma'am.
In your laboratory, it's just all here. No, you can see here, topics, then laboratory guide. Or under siya rin yung laboratory guide. So I have a video to explain that, and these are your laboratory exercise. So inyo lang ning i-download, and then you answer the different questions. No, and I think this is laboratory exercise 2, yung fruit ripening. So kung wala mo yung carboro, no, you can, I told you this is just a guide, so you can make your own treatments actually. Basta na alam mo yung ma-compare na with and without application. So ang nakabutang po diri bioethylene. So I have mentioned earlier that bioethylene can be in the form of mga fruit peel, like banana peel, or you can compare, instead na mag-karburo mo, kung wala mo yung mapalit na karburo, or if you are really interested to test the efficacy of karburo compared sa bioethylene, so you can do it, or you can compare different bioethylene, no, and without application. So you can devise your own. And I told you last time also that you can also, instead of a written report in any of these exercises, 1 or 2 or all of this, instead of a written report, you can also present a video, you know, showing what you did and the output. So anyway, you just watch the video to explain, and you can always ask me questions later, no? So I am just asking for an update of kasi laboratory exercise too. So it will be ending midterm na tayo, and also we're going to final soon. So hopefully you can start, no? So you will learn about your lab exercise 2 more after also this lecture. So can we proceed with your clarifications later, so we can finish the topic muna, no, Jason and Bryle? So when we say ripening, of course, it's not as simple as nahinog. It's also a series of biochemical and physical processes that cause an immature fruit to develop all the desirable aesthetic and edibility characteristics, no? That fruit becomes soft, sweet, less acidic, aromatic, change color, and lose their astringency. Kanang iyang ka, sa Bisaya, upload, no? Kabalo mo na, upload.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's also triggered by the hormone ethylene. And ethylene is the hormone, the fifth hormone of plants that is responsible for the ripening. No? So it's the C2H2, no, and synchronizes different physiological and respiratory events of ripening. So on the previous, during the introduction to post-harvest, we have learned that there are classification both of commodities based on respiration rate or ethylene, no, production, and that is climacteric and non-climacteric crops. So for non-climacteric, they don't actually they must be harvested at maturity stage or ripe na siya. Otherwise, they will not go further increase of ethylene at saka ripening. No? So, for climacteric fruits naman like mango and banana, they can be harvested green because afterwards they will later pa-increase ang kanilang ethylene at saka respiration rate. So these are actually the role of ethylene. Trigger production of more ethylene, expose until autocatalytic production of ethylene starts. And this ethylene is not harmful. Although yung ethyl is the commercial name available na mabibili natin in agricultural store, and it's a synthetic, it's not natural. Although the natural ethylene is not harmful, but I cannot say finally if the ethyl, the synthetic form is actually not harmful or safe. No, kasi it's synthetic, and we know if it's synthetic, it's just synthetic. It's not natural. So I don't want to comment on that. So this is still under debate if whether it's but for sure yung gamit ng carboro or calcium carbide is have proven na siya na yung ginagamit natin na ripening agents, no? So many farmers don't know that, and even we still are using carboro, no, as a ripening agent for mango and even banana, and it has been proven that it is can cause cancer. So I hope you be vigilant on that. So, as I have said a while ago, climacteric fruits are the fruits that can be picked green mature stage that will eventually ripen and contain high starch and converted to sugar. So, tatamis pa siya. And color and flavor can develop further after harvest and exhibit a respiratory climacteric produce ethylene autocatalytically. So, parang automatic na magproduce siya ng ethylene. So, an example of these are the avocado, banana, bitter gourd, breadfruit, canistel or tiesa, durian, guava, honeydew, melon, jackfruit, mango, muskmelon, papaya, passion fruit, sapota or chico, soursop, and or guyabano, sugar apple, and tomato. While in comparison to non-climacteric, those are fruits that need to be picked ripe, not capable of ripening off the plant since there's no further development of flavor after harvest, no starch that can be converted to sugar, and little or no change in respiration after harvest and only change in color or degreening, and do not produce ethylene autocatalytically. So I have mentioned this earlier, and examples are calamundin or calamansi, kasoy or cashew, cucumber, duhat, grape, java plum, lanzones, lemon, lime, longkong, lychee, mandarin, mangosteen, tomato, nor and green tomato. So not all varieties ng tomato and even other fruits are exactly climacteric or non-climacteric, no? And we also have satsuma mandarin, star apple, strawberry, watermelon, and wax apple and makopa. So what are the advantages of ripening regulation? So there are 8. One is allow shipment of fruits at mature green stage. So I hope you are already aware that we are shipping and we are exporting a lot, no? In our, I don't know if you have your crop production already. So in your crop production, I mean crop science subject, you have known what are the different fruits or crops we are exporting and importing in the country. So and in order for us, you all know that in order for thank you. In order for the in order for the banana, you know that banana in just one day, no, pag harvest nimo kanang or iinigpalit nimo sa grocery or sa market, pag i-ship or imuha ng i-travel, dali ra siya mahinog, 'di ba? Mag-yellow na din na pagkaugma. Especially if mo ato travel ka plane or barko. So, in order for us to regulate ripening na dahil siya madao, so we need to regulate ripening. And also for better color development, para uniform and slower disease symptom expression, less fruit shriveling, and faster means of getting cash. That's for marketing. Takes advantage of transient price increases. If mababa pa ang presyo, so you can stop pa the ripening agent using yung NCP, no? Have you heard of that before, NCP? Yun yung study ni Sir J.P. Matoginas on his master's degree, no? Na using NCP para dili, instead na mag-ripe siya, stop yung ripening. So, flexibility of selling and efficient use of space. So, there are different ripening and degreening techniques ang tawag natin. Introduce ethylene or other sources in the environment of the fruit through ethafone, the ethylene releasing compound, calcium carbide, its acetylene, and bioethylene are the uses of leaves and fruits of with high contents of ethylene and induce stress ethylene production. So these are the major 2 ways and specific types. So the requirements should be mature. Otherwise, the quality and the color development is impaired. Uniform, low temperature, and high humidity, good air circulation, ventilation, and airtight. No? Kaya kailangan siya sa room environment. So these are the different recommended temperature and relative humidities of various crops for banana and so on. So usually nasa 15 to 18 and 20 up to 27 and 30 degrees Celsius. And of course, nasa 85 to 96 relative humidity. So how do you apply ethylene? So as you have seen in the previous videos, no, we have mango, for example, na ipakita doon sa video on the use of ethylene, no, produced from pressurized cylinders, no? And we have ethylene generator. If you have still remember yung sa banana. And also balloon method and canisters or cartridges, meron din. We also have ethylene sieves and the use of polyethylene tent. However, it's dangerous kasi explosive ang ethylene at 30,000 ppm or 3% if 3% of the air is all ethylene. So it's also dangerous. So ito yung mga based on studies, these are the different levels of ethylene treatment per parts per million. So if we say halimbawa, in 1 ppm, there are 10,000, 1,000 or 10, sorry, I forgot, but something, 1,000 ml. So I will, please, or I will also review on that. I just forgot. So 10 to 100 ppm is for avocado, and medyo mataas yung banana, no? 100, and pomelo 250 to 500, tomato hanggang 1,000 for about 24 hours or 10 to 48 hours one day, no? Or and with this temperature ranges. So room temperature mostly 6 to 25, 28 temperature degrees Celsius. So quality problems due to improper ripening method are the following. Yung skin color niya might be dull, poor flavor, and rapid deterioration of ripe fruits. So if you notice, kung hindi siya masyadong mature, so yung flavor niya hindi masyadong matamis, at mas madali pa siyang masira. So appearance is good, but the pulp fails to ripen completely. So, and then meron siyang finger shedding or skin splitting. Madali rang matanggal yung banana finger. So how do we treat with ethefone? So ethefone is another, it's also an ethyl, no? It's an example of the brand name for ethylene, synthetic ethylene. So it's a liquid formulation, less expensive than ethylene gas. Kasi pure talaga yung ethylene gas na synthetic. And known as 2-chloroethyl phosphonic acid. And it's marketed as ethyl with 480 grams per liter ethefone, and has pH of 1 and release ethylene gas above pH of 4.6 or self-sop having pH 5. So, meron ding pH na bagong ma-release ang ethylene. So, it can also be applied by spraying, dipping within 5 minutes, and the use of sodium hydroxide and confined place for 24 to 36 hours. So these are the different levels of ethefone for ripening or degreening. For ripening or degreening, we have, depending sa variety or cultivar, no, latundan and lakatan. So medyo mas mataas ang lakatan compare sa latundan. And for papaya and mango, ranging from 500 to 2,000. Yes? So, another one is acetylene, yung calcium carbide, no? Yung carburo na ginagamit ng mostly farmers. So, can you still see, or do you still know of some farmers who still use carburo as ripening for manga? Robert?
Yes, ma'am.
So, nagagamit gyapon ang mga farmers karon. Oh, sorry, I can't hear you. So anyways, it's a acetylene, or the gas, the chemical term or the chemical name for calcium carbide. Now, when reacts with water for transpiring fruits, a gas is generated. This acetylene. So the acetylene will mimic the ripening effects of ethylene gas. That's why it's actually ethylene that are responsible for ripening of grapes, but then acetylene can mimic ethylene gas, and it's 100 times less effective than ethylene, and also explosive at 2.5 to 8% volume in air. Although cheap, readily available, and easy to apply, however, health risks when fruits are in contact with calcium carbide like phosphorus hydride and arsenic hydride. So application can be traditional method, tent method, or modified. No, sa traditional method, you just put the carboro chunks wrapped with this paper and inserted at the bottom of the within layers of passion fruit in a confined place. While tent method, you wrap the carboro and insert among large sheets of banana 6 meter high and covered completely with a burlap or thick cloth. And in modified method, it is inserted in the hole bored in stalk of a bunch of bananas. So you may also want to try this method, which is most effective in your ripening exercises, no? Depende na sa inyong creativity. So how much is the amount? For mango, you need 1 gram per kilogram or 20 gram per 20 kilogram basket of fruits with 15 to 25 gram per 15 fruits for 4 days. So medyo matagal siya. Unlike ethylene na you only need 24 hours. For banana naman, you need 5 gram per 10 bunches in a closed container or 60 gram per 208 liter container for 24 to 48 hours. No? Or 0.25 kilogram per 20 bunches for 12 to 48 hours. And also for Chico, 3 grams per 60 kilogram in basket for 12 to 18 hours. So next is the third option you can have is the bioethylene from leaves. These are newly expanded leaves which have higher ethylene. Mature leaves of acacia also have more ethylene. Or using 25 grams of cacahuate or madre de cacao per 100 fruits of saba banana. Ripening is delayed by 1 day compared sa ethylene and calcium carbide. For acacia naman, it has 13.44 liter gram, and Anuna has 12.5, Katura has 9, Malunggay also has an ethylene at the rate of 3, Balimbing 3, Peanut 1, Lyricidia 1.6, and Ipil-Ipil less than 1. So pinakamalaki ang acacia. Meron kayong acacia sa inyo? And also,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, so you can try it as your bioethylene. So there are guidelines using bioethylene from leaves. Use the most suitable and available leaves with high levels of ethylene, low carbon dioxide producer, readily available, and not better, although hindi siya economic masyado. No? Use the right amount of leaves. Kailangan 5% fruit weight of tomato for 2 to 4 days. Lyricidia, 10% of fruit weight of tomato for 4 days. And 70 to 100 grams of lyricidia for 1 kilogram of banana. So you can also play around different, like yung sabi ko, banana peel, yung hinog na ng mga waste or anything that you think it has high, or you can search for the literature kung ano ang pinakamataas ng parts ng tanim or crop na merong bioethylene. So these are also the different have tested na ng mga commodities with the amount of bioethylene and the duration of ripening. There are also bioethylene from fruits. Like magpahinag ka ng kamatis, you put 40% of cardaba on polyethylene bag with tomatoes for 6 days. Although mas matagal siya, no? Mas main na lang na normal or natural. And put 8 pin pricks per bag for gas diffusion. So busutan nimo gamay ang polyethylene bag. Or 800 grams of purple passion fruit, needed for 2 kilograms of tomatoes, or 40% of the fruit weight. Enclosed in polyethylene bags again with diffusion holes for 6 days. You can also use a banana, 10% of fruit weight of tomato, and even squash peel, 100 grams per kilogram banana. So you don't, please, if you start with your ripening exercise, you always weigh after, you check always every day kung ilang days yung ripening nila. And then the quality. So stressing crops to produce ethylene through wounding the fruit. You just insert pointed stick at the stem end of jackfruit, sarsop, so mas madali siyang mahinog. Or scouring or rubbing in sapota or chico, pinching in papaya or avocado, pricking within the tip of banana finger or twisting banana crown can induce ethylene production and hence can also make it ripen more. Or plasmolysis, putting salt on stem car of tiesa and chico or immersion of banana fruit salt in salted or seawater for a day can also enhance its ripening. And also moisture loss with about 1.2% per day to reduce time of ripening by 43%. So that is also the reason why when you transport through the sea, magbarko ka, mas madali mahinog ang imong mga commodity because of salt solution. So use of increased temperature, you can bury among rice hulls or grains, included in a container and in a warm room. You can place fruits in a big pot, about 100 liter, with small pot of burning leaves or straw at the top. And you place bananas in a pit covered with rice straw. So mapainit na siya. Usually, butanin mo sa carton, no? Mas ma-increase ang temperature, mas madali po siya maghinog. Or exposure to direct sunlight for a short time. Or deep in hot water, about 55 up to 55 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes, for example, for mango. Or you can also use smoke, no? Because smoke contains ethylene and acetylene. So rice straw, glycidia, mango, and banana leaves. You can use this for a smoke. So you make a pit with bamboo pipe at the side and use joysticks for 3 to 4 days and use dried cakes of cow dung or smoke from slow burning materials. So however, heat injury risk like carbon deposition may occur. So to slow down ripening naman, just avoid production or introduction of ethylene. No? Ito, in opposite. Or remove ethylene and inhibit ethylene action. So is that possible? Yes or no? Yes, of course, no? You can avoid production or introduction of ethylene through these 7 steps, no? Or ways. Careful handling to minimize stress. Low temperature to suppress ethylene, so kailangan air condition. Avoid storing and transporting with high ethylene producing materials, so even lights and yung rubber, it contain ethylene. Keep away from exhaust of engines, rubber, fluorescent lights. Follow strict sanitation practice, remove ripening fruits, or you use modified or controlled atmosphere packaging. So usually, itong mga map or modified atmosphere packaging are yung nasa container van, no? Na mga, kita naman mo, syempre, kita na dyan mo ng mga container van na dagko kayo, no? Gik padulog Davao, gikan o kana mulabay sa Tagum. So you can also remove ethylene through ventilation with fresh air, use of ethylene scrubbers. So these are chemicals, ha? Potassium permanganate, heated catalyst ethylene scrubber, brominated or activated carbon, or UV light for 4 hours per day for 4 days, and the use of biological system like the mycobacterium. So what are these ethylene inhibitors? Low temperature, no, and modify and control atmosphere, irradiation, and hypobaric storage. So you use silver ions, amino FXC vinyl glycine, and AOA. So 2,5-norblonidine or 2,5-NBD and DACP. Or 1-NCP, 3-MCP, 1-ACP, and cyclopropene, and calcium infiltration or waxing can also prevent ripening. So that's all for ripening, no? Next is color adding. It's the application of dye to pale colored fruits to improve color. And of course, you need mature quality fruits and approved dye by FDA. So it should be treated not more than 4 minutes at 49 degrees Celsius. With a constant treatment temperature, fruit should be blemish-free and water quality should be low in sulfur or iron, otherwise it will react. So for color adding, water and equipment should be clean. Optimum concentration must be established for 1 gallon dye per 300 gallon water. And coloring is done after grading and degreening. So, after pa siya mapahinog, no, if medyo pale pa talaga ang color niya, imo na po siyang i-dye. Treated fruits are thoroughly rinsed after color adding to remove excess dye when air dried or waxed. So another one aside from color adding is tinting, and this is done for flowers, no? The application of dye to wild cut flowers. So contact tinting by dipping for 48 seconds or acidic pH, reduce wax and positively charged dyes using textile dyes. So these are done actually in roses, callia lilies, and orchids. So another, aside from contact tinting, is yung systemic tinting. Stem ends are placed in 2.5 centimeter deep solution and allowed to be taken up through a high transpiration, warm temperature, about up to 25%, and low RH up to 85%, and you use negatively charged dye or food dye. So positively charged dyes are textile dyes, while yung ginagamit for systemic tinting ay yung negatively charged na food dye. And these are done in the Jolos carnation and tuber rose. So the tips should be for systemic dyeing, you leave stems out of water for some time before placing in the solution, and recut stems while submerged in the solution, and remove in the solution after tinting, and keep stems in water and store in dark room. So I have a video for this to show you and how to do the dyeing or tinting. So let's just try this one.
Bumili ng Bear Brand and get free 40 pesos GCash voucher. Ariel removes virus and 99.9% of germs. 25% more.
Mas nice ata ni. So again, for systemic tinting system, ito, so you use food dye. Gaya ng ginagamit natin for cake decoration. you tried this before? Any of you?
Wala pa, ma'am.
So wala pa din tayo nakakatabi tayo flowers. So usually, ilang hours ba yun? But for sure, for 12 hours to 24 hours, magsa-start na yan ang color. But there are some flowers that can depende kasi yan sa absorption rate. Depende yan sa absorption rate or sa yung water carrier pressure. So, mas madali, kaya yung tips kanina, you always cut the stem end para mas mabilis, hindi mas stuck ang pinahang and mas mabilis siya. And also, depende rin yan sa vein. This is in the case of carnation. So, depende rin sa veins niya, no? Like in this one, eto medyo yung flower niya, ang color pala is distributed well, no? Eto for blue green, for blue, nag-start siya sa kanyang tip. Sorry. So, we only have 2 minutes left. Do you have any question regarding color adding, and tinting? So, ang yellow talaga, mas madali siyang absorb. Notice itong color in this. Anong color ba? Saan yung color? Red or fuchsia? So, mas magandang yellow na. Ang green hindi masyado mag-absorb. Depende kasi yan sa concentration rate. So we're at less than a minute now. So thank you for watching this video. So if you have questions, we still have less than a minute for your questions. So actually, there are a lot kasi ito yun ay systemic tinting. So, meron din tayong yung tinatawag na kanina na contact tinting. Parang i-apply mo yung syempre, kabalo naman siguro mo sa ninyo ka na mag-tie-og ka ng t-shirt, diba? T-shirt, sa tawag na, t-shirt tinting ba yan? Nakatry na mo.
Yan, ihumol, ma'am.
Oo, ihumol, ma'am. Sa ininit na tubig. Using dye wax. So, that's the way also.
Alam pong sa magkulong kami, good mom.
Ha?